Microphone. Oh, there we go. Yes. Now we got sound. No. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now we got sound. Now we got sound. Sound was broken. Why? The sound was loading, but now the sound is loaded. Is it working? I don't know. It says it's working on my end. So let's just get rid of the loading page. I don't know. It says it's working on my end now. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. We'll find out. I wonder if there's echo. I wonder if there's echo at this point. Because oftentimes we get that whole load, reload, update madness that comes in at random intervals. Just to tell you guys, XSplit is the software, the broadcasting software that I use, and yeah. I will tell you guys that I don't know. I don't know if it's the best one on the market, but it's the one that we got, and it's the one that we're using, and I pay them money, and it's stupid weird sometimes. So I don't know. It is what it is. Happy Friday. Hopefully everybody's having a happy Friday out there. We seem to have figured out how to get the sound to work. We figured out how to update. It's weird. It doesn't update the software until you it doesn't have an automatic update. It should just download an update at night. And I swear I have tried to set that up a million times, and it just doesn't seem to do it. It does it right when you open the software. It forces updates. So, yeah, it is what it is. And, we're here for a Friday show. As you guys know, Friday's show is all about answering questions from the Patreon and from the chat. So feel free to chat. I'll try to answer your questions in the chat. I don't know if I'll be able to or not, because we got lots of stuff. We got lots of stuff to go with today. And I titled this... Oh, what? Did it not? Oh, man. I wonder if it saved it. Let me see what's going on here. I bet you it didn't save it. It's probably broadcasting... I set up a whole new stream, and now it says it's broadcasting on the wrong. No, it says it's okay. Over here it says it's broadcasting. Cool. Yeah, well, either way. What did I call it? I called it Broken CO2 and Aquaestions. So, okay, maybe I do have it labeled correctly, because who was it? Somebody posted in there, Aquestions should be a word. Okay, so good. Where did that go? I don't know where that went. Somebody posted it in the chat. I don't know. Repost it if you did, because that must be right. It must be pseudo correct. I don't know. I'm just gonna start making up my own words into the title, because search engine optimization be damned. I don't even. It's not like I'm coming up in anybody's feed anyhow, so who cares? I should probably just make up words and put them in a title, and then people will be like, "What is that?" And I'll be like, "I don't know. I just made it up. It's random letters. Like, today's show shall be called Goopy Poopy." Hold on. Poopy. Hold on. That's Q. What? I don't know. I never know what I'm doing with this keyboard over here. With a mark at the end. We'll call it that. Today's called Goopy Poopy. Although that's kind of words, so I think people would figure it out. So maybe I have to get even more creative. Fake words I'm making up. Maybe I'll find more Latin. I'll just find more Latin. Chris Johnson, quick question. Do you know if Novus polish residue is harmful to fish? Yeah, it is. Clean it off as best you can. I typically use vinegar. White vinegar. Not like... I just used the distilled white vinegar. Just use that. Baba Booey. Howard Stern's nothing, just trolling. I like it. I like that. I don't know if I'm a huge fan of Howard Stern. I'm like sort of the fan of Howard Stern. I know I've listened to some of his shows and stuff, but I think I'm more of a Howard Stern fan, like in principle, I guess, than like actually having listened to the shows. I don't know. I listened to old Don and Mike. Do you guys remember those guys? They were around like Howard Stern time, I think. Maybe. I don't know. They're old. M. Howie with a $5 super chat says, daughter has drama club performance tonight. I'll have to catch you on the replay. Sounds good. Oh, what is Goopy Poopy rank on TubeBuddy? I don't know. Let me see. Hold on. Let me look it up. I'll look it up on Morning Fame. Goopy Poopy. There we go. Let's see. Let's see what we got. It's not a ranking topic. Oh my God. There's an actual video named that though. A big fat wet and goopy poopy diaper. There actually is. Oh, hold on. Let me see. I wonder what does this come up? Ah. All right. Let me see. What does goopy come up as? Oh, Goopy La Grande. Goopy La Grande. Oh, wow. It comes up. Okay. I guess Goopy is pretty good for smaller channels. Okay. I guess it comes up pretty swell. Goopy in the title comes up well for smaller channels. I guess Goopy La Grande boss fight. What is that? Goopy La Grande boss fight in Cuphead on PC and Xbox One. I don't know what that is. Oh, he's like I guess he's like a kid's character. Okay, I guess that's why. All right. He's some kind of kid's character. And apparently that's French, maybe? I don't know. But a Goopy apparently comes up as a thing. Weird. Well, we learned something today, you guys. We've learned it. We've learned it super hard. What else should I look up? I wonder what else I should look up and see what we got. David Gilkinson says, I set up a Daphnia tank in a 10-gallon in my basement on Tuesday, fed yeast and spirulina, heater, and an air stone, used water from an established tank. Came home today, and the whole house smelled. What happened? Well, I would, first off, I'd have to wonder what's the smell you're smelling? You know, it's going to be like, ooh, that smell. Can you smell that smell? Ooh. Smell the death that surrounds you. Right? I don't know if anybody knows that old song. I think that song came out before I was born, so that's got to be an old. That's got to be an old one. Hold on, let me see. Who did that? I wonder who did that smell. Ooh, that smell. Who did this? Oh, that was Skinnerd. Okay, Lynyrd Skynyrd. Lynyrd Skynyrd did that song. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. The Smell, released October 17th, 1977. So it literally is it was a couple years before I was born that came out. So that is an old song. And to all you that listen to that jam in high school, you old. Well, you're older than I am. And I'm old too. It's fine. I'm going to be 40. You guys, I'm going to be 40 with a toddler. I'm going to be 40 years old with a toddler. Dun, 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 dun. And if you guys think that, I don't know if anybody saw the Chips video that I made a while ago for Halloween, the search for Mr. Chips. I'm thinking that one of the best things that is going to come from being a father is getting the opportunities to make crazy videos with my daughter. I think is going to be awesome. I think that's going to be awesome. Speaking of our daughter, look at that. I got one of the newborn pictures back. That's my hand. God, look at my cuticle. Oh my gosh, look at how bad those are. Oh, that is awful. Look like I've been digging around in the dirt like a... Okay, I have been. Yeah, check that out. Check out that. That's my baby girl up close to the camera. Oh, yeah, see that technology around here? I actually have to hold up an analog picture. We don't have that digital stuff. We got paintings and analog pictures. I'm going to put her back here. Is that a good spot? Oh, no. Oh, no. Stay legit. Okay, it won't stay on there very well. It's like falling forward. I don't know. We'll figure it out. You know, I want to thank you guys all for coming out on a Friday today, and let's move on to the next segment of the show. Boom! Yes. We're moved on to the next segment of the show while you all were tripping about Leonard Skinnerd. Which is fine. I'm having a good time with it. I don't know if you guys noticed, I'm getting weirder and weirder because, I don't know, I think I'm getting less and less sleep. So, I'm just going to keep getting weird with it, and I don't know, it'll be fine. I think you guys will figure it out. I don't know. Either way. All right. Cody Hutton, our first question of the week, the day, the Friday, whatever day it is. Cody, thank you for patronizing. Muchas gracias, mi amigo. I think he's pretty new to the Oceaneer Club. He's asking a question about plywood tanks. What are your thoughts on a plywood tank? We got some responses here from Jake. My thoughts on a plywood tank, I get it. I get where people are coming from with a plywood tank. I'm not a huge fan of them personally because I just feel like if I was going to put the effort into building a plywood tank, I would just start building a pond or an aquaponic system. That's where I would put my energy personally. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I've seen some gigantic plywood tanks that were pretty cool. Just bear in mind that you definitely are going to have some kind of viewing panel, or you sort of, I think even with just like one viewing panel or just a little viewing panel in a thing, I think it's pretty much a pond anyhow, right? So you're pretty much building a pond, so I would just go about it like and build an awesome pond. That's what I would do personally. Or, you know, build a giant plywood tank and then use that as the reservoir for a big aquaponic system. That's what I would do. But I get like what Jake responded here, which is pretty good. He says 4 times the size of a big old glass one, and it costs a third to run. They're super good at insulating the heat. That's something I wouldn't have taken into consideration personally. I probably wouldn't have thought like, man, they insulate really well. Because every time I've built some kind of plywood structure, it's generally been for an aquaponic, either an aquaponic situation or a pond situation. And, you know, we've always put some kind of insulation, whether it was dirt or spray foam or foam sheeting or any of that kind of stuff. You know, so I think that's the direction that I would go personally, just because I know the availability of, you know, tank builders and stuff like that I recently, you know, you guys know that I shelled out all the money for one of the 120s, and Vicky sponsored the other 120. You know, and that was a fair bit of dough, but we definitely saved a lot of money, like doing our own plumbing, building the stand, doing all that kind of stuff. And like, I feel like if I was going to do a big tank, I would just go that route again and figure out what to do. Unless you guys are noticing the top tier on the Patreon about the shipping container tank, which I still want to do that someday. I don't know. We never even got close to hitting that mark on Patreon, so I just assumed it was a thing that we talked about, and I don't know if it'll ever happen, but, you know, who knows if we'll ever be able to actually do that. Maybe somebody like, you know, 54 Punchy or somebody like that has some property that maybe we could put one on, and then maybe we could try to figure something out. But who knows? You know, like right now, I just don't have space. I don't have space to even put one. I mean, I'd make it happen. If the Patreon hit that goal, I would make it happen. But it's a lofty goal. First and foremost, it's a gigantically lofty goal. Secondly, I do have to think that if the Patreon hit that, I probably would make some decisions about, building a studio, because I don't know how long it would take to order the shipping container thing. Like, that's a giant tank, and it probably takes a while to build it, Bentley says, if I win the lotto, we'll figure it out. Yeah, I mean, there is that old question of, like, if you won the lotto, what would you do? Like, what would you do if you won the lottery? And I think pretty much what I'm doing right now is what I would do if I won the lottery. I would just be doing it on a bigger scale. Like, it would just accelerate my timeline and get me further down the road of, like, what I, wholly want to be doing, instead of having to take the tiny incremental steps that I'm at right now, which is fine. I'm doing all of the little steps that I possibly can, and I will show you guys something right here. And just to give you guys an example of what I'm doing, step by step, I have purchased a new camera because I need a new travel camera. It's basically a lateral move camera, though. I'm having to sell my 80D, which is my B camera. This is my A camera right here. I'm having to sell my B camera and replace it with a different camera that will require this adapter right here, which I actually already own. So that's not the worst thing. That's not the worst. I already own the adapter. So just think about the savings there, guys. So we got some good things going, and we're just going to... I have to figure out where the piece that goes here, though, is. I don't know where that is. But I do have a quick release coming from Hong Kong that I think might be better suited on the bottom of this. I'll show you guys that when that camera gets here, and when the quick connects get here and stuff. But just making those baby steps, having to do that kind of stuff, I would just blow right past all of that stuff if I won the lottery. I would just, I'd just straight up buy property and start building crazy. I would just start building like a maniac. It would be kind of fun, and I would probably hire a full-time cameraman and an editor, I think, if I won the lottery. So I think, would we be daily? I think it would probably be multiple daily videos coming out and stuff like that. I think realistically, I'd probably have a couple of channels at that point if I won the lottery, because I do have other things that I work on for sure that aren't fish tanks, but and I'd have to figure out. I don't know. I'd have to figure out how that worked. But it is an interesting question. I do like the question of, if you won the lottery, like, what would you do? Because it's an evaluative question. It's a question of, like, what would you do if there was no monetary obstructions in the way? And like I said, I'd be doing what I'm doing now, just on a grander scale. Kelly says, "Oh, you'd hire a Jimmy." Yes, I would, and I know exactly who it is. It wouldn't be Jimmy, but I already know who my editor would be. Also, I would see. Here's the funny thing: like, I already have a bunch. I already have. If something was to, like, jump up my level of success, like, let's just say Let's say I was 20 times more successful than I am right now. I know I have a list of the guys I would hire immediately. Just saying. I'm just saying I have those people on the list, and I definitely would build my company that way. I would definitely be hiring people to do work. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, that's what it is. It is what it is. Bentley Pascal says, "Ni hao, buenos dias, hello, howdy, konnichiwa," and all those greeting type things. What's up, Bentley? How you doing? Oh, Bentley, my man. We're going to have to hook up. Bentley and I are going to have to hook up pretty soon, because we got some stuff in the works. Let's see. Woohoo! The like button engaged. Well, thanks, Sunwise. Appreciate it. HC Aqua says, hi, Susan. What's up, dude? Good to see you. Shipping container would need some mad filtration. That's true, T. It would definitely, but luckily there is a company that actually just makes them. They're not designed to specifically be an aquarium. They're designed to either be a large format hot tub or a lap pool or like a swimming pool. So they already do come, you know, they're fully insulated, they're fully watertight, all that kind of stuff. They're modular so that you can actually load them up on a trailer and take them places. And they come with all the filtration and heating and everything. There's just some slight changes, some variations that you need to make to changing the filtration around. You just have to make some changes. Lucy Sylvester wrote in, just wanted to say hi to everyone. I can't figure out how to post pics. I'm just having a Verizon cell phone. And Alyssa Bentley was very generous with her time to help out and let her know how to do it. This question has come up quite a few times, and Patreon's basically the website is programmed. You know, there are some obstructions to just any program just immediately working perfectly, and they work on it diligently. They fix things, they add new features all the time, and one of the issues is posting pictures just directly from your phone, and I'm not sure why that is. I've sent them an email, and they're like just a bunch of gibberish, basically. And so what it boils down to is that you have to open it in the browser and not use it straight from the app. So you open Patreon in a web browser like Google Chrome or whichever web browser you like to use. You can use it on your phone too. You just open the browser on your phone, go to Patreon that way, and you can post whatever pictures you like. For instance, like Alyssa's picture right here, quickly followed up. She says that I thought the Apisto babies were gone, but I guess it's easy to hide a tiny baby fish in a jungle tank. I saw 3 yesterday for the first time in 2 weeks. They are bigger. Maybe they're all in there somewhere. Yeah, I mean, who knows? I will tell you this. The Apistogrammas that I have are mysterious as all get out. I see new ones in there. I see old ones in there. And sometimes I see none in there. And I will tell you, yesterday... was it yesterday or maybe the day before? Gosh, what day is today? Friday? Today's Friday, right? Friday. I think it's Friday. Friday. Right? I think it was Wednesday. I was feeding the tank and doing something in there. I don't remember what else, but I was doing some feeding, and one of the old Grandpa Pistos came out. And I have to tell you, marvelous looking fish, full on black body and bright orange fins. So there is a male in there that is full grown for sure, and is just 100% the coloring that I want him to be, and just a marvelous looking fish, I have to say. And I just, you know, like a small child, I said hi to him, you know, and just let him know, hey, buddy, how you doing? And he ate some stuff and then went back to hide where he likes to hide. Also in that tank, we've got the rummy nose tetras, which, of course, are always out in the front, the bristle nose plecos, the super reds that are in there, and I keep seeing super red babies also. They just keep showing up, so that's cool. I haven't seen any rummy nose babies or anything like that in there, but the shrimp are breeding like crazy. There's also the Apistos, and the puffers are in there too. And I realistically only see 1 or 2 of the 3 puffers at a time. You know, today I was doing some feeding. I busted up some snails, dropped them in there. One of them came out, was going wild. But I will tell you, every time I see one of the puffers in there, they are big round bellies and they are looking happy. So they're finding snails, they're finding shrimp, they're finding stuff that they want to eat, and they seem to be doing pretty well. So I don't know if the puffers will ever breed in there either. I mean, chances are maybe. It's like, will they breed in there? I don't know, maybe. T. Riddle is, what's a good size for a Pistos? You know, a Pistos go all the way down into a 20-gallon. I mean, you don't need a monster tank for them. Just don't overstock them because they will get territorial once they get big enough and start breeding and whatnot. You don't need a huge tank for them. But they're definitely a cool fish and pretty exciting and pretty fun. Fun to be around. J-Lou Aqua, hashtag puffer, hashtag puffin stuff. It's good stuff. Cody Donovan says it's Friday. The Planet Tank. Hello. Mary RNH2O is here. Good to see you. Frank Dominguez says if I won the couch, I would sit on my if I won the lottery, I would sit on my couch all day watching live streams all day long. I mean, if you won the lottery, I don't know that you would sit on your couch, but you would probably come down from my attic and sit on my couch, I'm thinking. Oh, Brian's Fish Tank's here. What's up, man? Ricky Ranchu says, did I make the list? Which list? Ricky, what list? Is there a list? I don't know. What's the list, man? Oh, man, I'm intrigued. Okay, Ricky, you post up in there. Let me know what the list was, and I'll figure it out. Was I talking about a list? I don't know. I don't remember. Jared RB, who you see him in the chat fairly often, was posting up on the 4th, said, Microrasbora help needed. Fish fam, I recently ordered 2 dozen chili rasboras, Boraras brigites. Yep, those old brigites, they are pretty cool, to add to my existing population of 1 dozen. So we've gone from 12 to 36, supposedly, or probably. I don't know why I said supposedly. I mean, supposedly, like, if my math is correct, right? I see at least after inspecting the new fish, I see at least half of them are brigites, as expected, but some look to be, I never know how to say this, Erophthalmoides. Yeah, I don't know how to say that one. And some appear to be either maculatus or mara, black dot instead of stripe. Okay, so that's pretty common, honestly, to get the wrong fish. Let's be honest, that's super awesome. Oh, Ricky Ranchu says people you would hire. Oh, the people I would hire list. Ricky, I don't know you. Unless I do know you in person. I don't know. All those people I know them in person. I know them in person, so I don't know. Maybe you're somebody I know, and Ricky Ranchu is your secret YouTube name or something. I don't know. Maybe you're actually Brad. Maybe you're actually Brad. I don't know. Is it possible? Is it possible? Let's see here. Let's get back to the question. I want all my fish to have a good life. Will they be stressed out having only a small group of the same species in the tank, 3 to 6, and a bunch of cousins nearby? The tank height is Iwagumi style. Or the tank highlight is Iwagumi style setup. They will share with cherry shrimp, so I'm not worried about them breeding. Okay, so breeding's not a big deal. And to be brutally honest with you, this is not that uncommon. It is fairly common. I will tell you, the giant group of rummy nose that I got in, they're not only one species of tetras. There are a bunch. I think there's 3 different types that look like rummy nose, but they're all kind of slight little variations. And I've definitely noticed a few differences in them, but I wouldn't be that stressed out about it in this situation. I would be more stressed out about it if you were specifically breeding them. Then I would have a concern. But this sounds like you're just taking care of them as more of an ornamental situation. But if you were breeding them, then I would be really concerned to specifically separate them and make sure that you have exactly what you want so that they're doing what they're doing and doing what you want them to do, which is breed with a specific species so that you don't end up with some kind of weird mishmash on the off chance that they'd be able to breed together. Hold on. Oh, Is this like some super old... Okay, thing just fell off my desk. Sorry, this thing is sitting over there, and it looks like some kind of... Oh, it is! Check this out. The super old school cell phone holder. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and just throw that in the trash so I don't keep playing with it while I'm doing the show. Let's see. I had a friend who won $50K twice on the Instant Kiwi Scratchies, and Gillett has an uncle who won the lotto and just fueled his alcoholism. Oh, that's sad. If you're an alcoholic like I am, go ahead and get sober. That's what I would recommend, especially if you win the lottery. I mean, you should get sober anyhow. Let's check in with my sobriety counter, you guys. It's over here on the other computer. I have to, where did it go? Hello? Where's my thing? Where'd it go? I gotta find it. It's a button. Oh, there it is. 1,669 days, you guys. 1,000. I'm gonna type it in here. 1,669 days. Oh, I must have caps lock on. Is that caps lock? Yeah, I had caps lock on. Oh, I hate this keyboard on this computer. There we go. No, put it in there. Okay. There we go. 1,669 days sober from this guy right here, which is 2,404,314 minutes. Sorry. It's 144,258,000 seconds, bros. So, that's good stuff. But if you do win the lottery and you happen to be an alcoholic, just go ahead and get sober. And then if you don't win the lottery and you happen to be an alcoholic or drug addict like I am, get into recovery. And trust me, it'll get better. It'll get better. Things will be on the up and up. And it'll just keep getting better and better. And then you'll be like, oh, man, that weird dork on the internet was right. Well, hopefully hopefully we helped Jared here. Let's get back to the question here. Even if you have like this different species of fish here with they have really close parameters. So feeding them is going to be about the same. Keeping the water is going to be about the same, and you are going to give them the ornamental life that you had already set out to give them. A good, Google's alerting me that I'm signed in. Okay, yeah. Yeah, all right. Yeah, so your fish are going to be close, and you're going to be doing mainly an ornamental situation here, so I would just go with it like that. Jackson Borokowski says, I got some mystery rainbows in that came in with a shipment of giant Danios at my local fish store for a steal. They have some large white bumps, not ick. Anyone know what that is and how to treat it? And if anyone can identify what species they are from the kind of bad pick, that would be fantastic. The white bumps, I mean, it either looks like a little bit of a fungus or possibly just a wound, you know? Maybe they're just like, you know, biting and bashing around in the old bag in the shipping and stuff. It sounds like they probably weren't really all that well taken care of during shipping anyhow because they're misidentified. So my guess would be probably somebody just, misidentifying them and throwing them into a bag and then sending them out. I can't tell what fish this is from this picture. Personally, I'm not the best at identifying rainbow fish, but maybe somebody's going to be able to chime in and let us know. Maybe somebody like Bentley would know just by giving it with his old peepers there and taking a look. But I would wait to identify a fish. Okay, I guess let me rephrase that. When it comes to identifying a fish, I would realistically get them home, get them in a tank, and get them healthy, and then figure out exactly what's up with them. You know, I would be more concerned about caring for them, and then being able to get a real good look at what they're supposed to look like. Because oftentimes you'll get fish in from shipping, and it's like, oh man, this fish is terrible. And the reality is like, well, they're just terrible from shipping and being in that situation. So I would get them healthed up and then identify them from there. Kelly Peterson sent in this picture right here, which is awesome because it doesn't really have anything to do with fish, but it's still awesome. It says, since my tanks are just swimming along this week and doing the same things they've been doing all month, I figured we could talk art, right? I've been learning to spin wool into yarn, and I'm really proud of the Shetland wool thread I'm currently making. Shetland sheep are a heritage breed that's got a recovering population that's been preserved because hand spinners appreciate the fine, high-quality wool. As I've learned to spin, I've gotten more and more interested in farms that are keeping rare and unusual sheep breeds alive, much like aquarium plants and animals. Without dedicated keepers, we would lose a lot of diversity without those special experts who keep rare things around. And I will tell you, when we were up in Alaska, so part of the fair that we were at, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that Alaska show with the Kilchers and all those guys. We actually met we didn't really meet him. We just said hi to him. He was one of the Kilchers was at the fair. So it was the county fair, or the state fair, or whatever you want to call it. Now, regardless of my terrible storytelling here, the whole reason I brought it up was when we were in Alaska, we got the chance to meet like almost all of the ladies that make wool and basically do this right here. They're making sheep's wool and wool thread and all that kind of stuff, and they're farming them, and it was really cool because we got a chance to look at basically like at least 20 different kinds of wool and things that have been knitted together and whatnot. And man, I was enthusiastic about it. I thought it was really cool. I probably should have done a better job of documenting it while I was there, but we were kind of vacation style, so it was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm making YouTube videos or what. So, Aquafuzzy sent in, hey, Joel, I'm getting my Fluval 3.0 from the coop tomorrow, and I'm already thinking about CO2. What would you recommend for a beginner that's super safe and reasonably easy? It's for a 20-gallon. Well, first and foremost, I mean, if I was to recommend something that is easy, the easiest thing to do would be to dose. Something like Easy Carbon. Seachem makes some kind. I don't know. Can't remember exactly what it's called, but Seachem makes some. Or if you want to get into a full CO2 kit, you could always get into a CO2 kit because it. Realistically, like long term, if you get some CO2 equipment, it realistically will last you a really, really, really long time. And with good CO2 equipment, you'll have the thing that you need for a long time in order to basically create it and run with CO2 for a long time. And this is the CO2 that I'm using right now. There we go. Robert Jones says Excel. Yeah. For whatever reason, I got the dad brain and, can't necessarily remember exactly what I'm talking about anymore. Somebody else must have gone live at 4 o'clock. I wonder who. I wonder who went live. Because right at 4 o'clock. This is a quiet show today anyhow, so not bad. But right at 4 o'clock, about 30 people left. Somebody else must be alive. Either way, we continue on ever forward. But there's a link right there in the chat for the basically the CO2, the regulator and solenoid and all that I use currently. You can definitely, it's going to be a kind of expensive to get into. So, realistically, it's pretty important long term if you are going to be growing a planet aquarium for a long time. You can definitely do what you want to do without it. You know, I would just bear in mind that you can grow plants that way. You can do it that way. But I don't highly recommend it. And one of the big reasons that I don't highly recommend it is it's just not the great long-term. It's not the great long-term answer to supply essentially the carbon to the plants that you want. You can grow them that way. They won't be the healthiest. They won't be the healthiest plants. And I don't know, I forget who it was. Somebody was talking to me a while ago, and they gave me a really good analogy. It was like, you could eat McDonald's every day and be all right, and grow into a person and be okay. But it's just really not a healthy way to go. And that's sort of like a decent way to equate, you know, a human experience to a plant experience, is that a plant can live underwater, but it's not exactly the healthiest way for it to just be growing there. You know, it's not the greatest environment for it. You know, and adding some CO2 just is going to allow them for more robust growth, more attractive growth, and it just really is just honestly the best way to go. Obviously, $250 for a regulator and a solenoid and all that. It's not $0. It is kind of expensive, but there are cheaper ways to get a regulator and CO2 tank and equipment and all that kind of stuff. By, you know, the used market. The used market is probably the best place to go. If you happen to know somebody like me who oftentimes has a spare one around, and you're like, hey man, can I trade something for that? And I'd be like, yeah man, we got a big hole to dig out here. You want to come dig a hole? I'll trade you a solenoid and a regulator and a bubble counter. You want to help me dig a hole? Day of labor, right? Or something along those lines. But there are a lot of people like on Craigslist, Facebook, stuff like that are selling older equipment, and that's a great way to start. Let's see here. Johan was here, but then he had to go to bed. But he always posts us some awesome fish of the week so we can pay attention to it. Now, today's fish of the week, I don't personally have, but I definitely do have some interaction with this fish on a regular basis. Now, I don't necessarily, you know, I don't like feed them. I don't do water changes. I don't take care of them. But I do have some interactions with them on a pretty regular basis, because our buddy Corey at the Aquarium Co-op, which reminds me, I should probably post the Aquarium Co-op link for you guys so that you can go there if you want to help out and buy stuff from the Aquarium Co-op. You can. You don't have to. Where's that link at? Where'd that go? Oh, here we go. Let's make this one. I'm going to make the live plants link for you guys. Copy, paste, boom. Yeah, don't forget, I'm an affiliate of the Aquarium Co-op, so, you know, if you guys want to go over there, you can. Check it out. You know, do that kind of stuff. If you don't want to, you don't have to. I'm just saying, where I get to deal with these fish on a pretty regular basis is at the Aquarium Co-op. Corby himself has got these in his 800-gallon, and they are awesome. They are really cool fish. I'm not even going to try and say their Latin name, but there it is, highlighted right there. The freshwater archer fish, and these are the freshwater varietal that actually are fresh. I don't think they ever have to go. They don't ever have to get in any salt water at all. Freshwater archer fish tend to inhabit relatively shallow waters underneath the cover of forest canopies, where they are most likely to find insects to eat, often among the shelter of dense aquatic vegetation or the cover of undercut banks. They require swimming space, so a roomy tank is necessary. In their native habitat, archerfish will feed on insects which they leap at or shoot water at them and make them fall into the water, small fish and crustaceans. In the aquarium, they will readily take a varied diet of dry food and frozen meaty foods, which I'm just trying to say that, like, yeah, I get to mess around with these fish and check them out on a really regular basis, and I have to say, they are delightful. They just are an awesome fish. Really cool characteristics. Really cool that they shoot stuff, from the tank. They spit water at things to knock bugs into the water, and that's how they eat. And they are fantastic. And they're an amazing fish, that is for sure. And I really enjoy them, and I really enjoy the opportunity to basically, check them out whenever I'm near Corey's 800, and I really enjoy them. Really cool fish, and that's a cool fish of the week. Fishy Mailman sends this one in today. Update on the pygmy Cory fry. They seem to be growing extremely slow, possibly, extremely slow. Possibly, I'm just seeing multiple generations. Either way, they are spawning almost daily, which is awesome. I could never get my pygmy Corys to spawn like when I wanted them to spawn. I don't know. I could never really get them to just spawn on a regular basis, but the pygmy Corys are badass once you got a good colony of them going, and they're doing really well. Love them little fish, and someday I'll have them again. We also got a picture here from the Fishy Mailman of look at that little fry. Look at that little fry. Look at that little fry hanging out down here in the hair algae, being sneaky. Love it, 100%. Johan also sent this in. Here's a quick question that most people have. Hey, Joel, what's the best way to get rid of this mold? We talked about this last week, because as you guys know, I have a little bit of this mold going in my 120. The easiest way to get rid of it is manual removal. So you do a water change. So on a hose, right? A little piece of hose. Get it started with a siphon, and then just suck it up into a bucket and just manually remove it, get rid of it. Or the easiest way to get rid of it is time. You just wait. And then no worries, right? You just wait, no worries, and it'll go away. Fish and shrimp and stuff like that, snails will feed on it, so it's really not that big of a deal. But I would like to announce that Pamela Earlywine, 54 Punchy herself, will be, hey, fishy friends, this is one of my drawings, a 9-inch by 12-inch charcoal drawing of an osprey. I'm going to be giving it away on my YouTube channel Saturday night at 5 Mountain Time, which who knows what that is, 5 o'clock Mountain Time. Subscribe to my channel, 54 Punchy, and watch the video New Babies Takes 2 to find out how to enter. Now back to figuring out how to set everything up to live stream. I'm pretty excited for this. Hopefully I'll be able to make the stream. Hopefully I'll be in the chat there. And this is going to be so awesome. This is such an awesome prize to be able to get an awesome piece of art. You guys are always asking me, like, how can you get one of my paintings? I'm always trying to get one of Pamela's paintings. So go check out 54 Punchy's channel. You guys can find out how to possibly win this action. I probably shouldn't have been telling you about this because I want to try and win it. I'm trying to get all my accounts. Yeah, do I have multiple accounts? Maybe. Wink. Nudge. I don't know. I have 2 actually, but yeah, I'm gonna try to win this, but I know I'm not gonna win it because I don't ever win. But that's an awesome freaking prize, and you guys are always asking to try to get some of my art, but realistically, I would want some of Pamela's art at my house. So try to win it. That's all I'm saying. If you're not interested in being an actual fan of Pamela's, then don't worry about it. Just go back to doing whatever you were doing before, and then, it'll be all good. All right, let's go to the video so that people will understand what I was talking about, broken CO2 and all that stuff. All right. What did I yeah. Broken CO2 and Aquaestions. I like it. I don't even know how I even typed that in. What a weirdo. But needless to say, here's why you guys will understand about the broken CO2. So here's one of the 120s down here messing around in the sump, screwing around. I got some of these basically these inline CO2 diffusers that I thought are pretty much the bee's knees. They're pretty much exactly what I would hope for in order to diffuse via the line back into the tank. So I was stoked to get them in. They were a reasonable price. They seemed to be exactly what I was looking for. And, you know, spoiler alert, by the end here, I get it all set up and the dang thing leaks like crazy. So either I got a malfunctioning one or something. I don't know, but we'll find out in the long run. If I just got a broken one or if there's like, I just have to go back to the drawing board and get something else. And I think I'm probably going to have to end up going back to the drawing board and just getting something else because this is kind of frustrating, you guys. It's not, you know, it just leaks. And by the time we get to the end of the video here, you'll understand what I'm talking about. All right, let me see. Let me catch up with the chat here a little bit. How long would a 20-pound CO2 bottle last on a 55, a 30, and a 37? Depends on your rate, the rate that you're sending bubbles out. But a 20-pounder for me, well, I've got it on the 240 and a 150 and something else. But a 20-pounder, you know, lasts probably 3 months, 2 months. If there's a leak in the line, it'll go much quicker. But a 20-pounder lasts me a significant amount of time. So it works out to about $10 a month for 3 pretty sizable tanks and what most people would consider pretty big. Let's see. Somebody was asking, where did it go? It's a good question here. Slow down. Victor, I haven't finished shopping yet. Merry Christmas. Yeah, it's not Christmas yet. Thank God. Sunwise says, if you get a chance between Patreon questions, could you talk a little bit about color combinations, plant, shrimp, and fish? Color combinations will always be rule of thirds. So, you know, you don't want all just one thing going on in a tank. But I don't typically go over 3 species typically in a tank, whether, I mean, I don't really count snails. But if I have shrimp in a tank, I'll probably only have 2 kinds of fish. If I have 2 kinds of fish, I'll probably only ever add a third, right? It is kind of weird that I have the apistos, the bristlenose, the rummy nose, and the puffers. But the puffers were kind of a crazy addition that, you know, Preston basically hooked up a fish that I didn't think I'd ever be able to own because of how expensive they are. And so I decided to put them in the biggest house that I have for them, which is the 240. And so it is kind of weird that I have those in there, but that's the reason why. So, you know, once the apistos and the bristlenose and the rummies were in that tank, I considered it, we're done. We're done with fish. I'm not going to add any more. But luckily, it's just 3 small puffers. So, yeah, that's I guess hopefully that explains it. I just sort of stick rule of thirds. Like, you don't want to put all red plants into a tank because it just gets muddied up. It just gets completely muddied up by all of the reds and stuff like that. So I try to have some yellowish plants. I try to have some deep reds. I try to have some bright greens. I try to have some deep greens and go that route to kind of accent different areas of the tank. It looks really boring unless you have like a real Iwagumi type tank where you just have a couple of rocks and then like a bright green carpet. Like, that's pretty cool. But, you know, Tom Barr brought up a really good point for me when I was down talking to him, is that, you know, he's like, an aquarium's kind of a waste when you have an Iwagumi scape, because you're sort of just doing one thing in something that uses up a lot of resources, a lot of time, a lot of energy, and all that kind of stuff. And it really is like kind of a waste when you think about it, when you could do Iwagumi like in a countertop little terrestrial piece. So I think that's probably what I'm gonna do for next spring. That's probably what I'm going to do for next spring, is some outdoor Iwagumis. I'm going to give that a shot. Hopefully all my aquaponics and all that stuff will be set up by then, and it will make more sense. But we'll see how it goes. And so I definitely try to go that route. As you guys can see in the background, I'm setting up this CO2. It's got this little bubble counter, which, of course, yeah, you guys, if anybody's watching that video, you guys will notice that I'm just screwing things up left and right. And by the end of it, I do get it set up, and it just leaks. It just leaks like crazy. And I still got it running out in the garage, so I'm going to see what happens with it running and it leaking. Maybe it just needs to break in, but that seems pretty doubtful to me. It's leaking, and it's probably going to continue to leak. But realistically, my point there is that I'm going to go out and take it apart and then and see if I can't seal it back up. But hey, we had to do a show, so that meant I had to get back in here, render this video down, edit it down, cut it up, speed it up so it's not so boring and slow, and then whoa, almost broke this thing. I'm gonna set that back down right over there. So I had to get everything rendered up and edited up and all that kind of stuff. So it just kind of ran out of time. So I'm going to take it apart, find out why it's leaking. Maybe it's just broken. Maybe it just got broke somehow. And, you know, hopefully that's the case. I do have another spare one. So worst case scenario, I can replace it with the spare and like order up another one. But right now, I'll give it 1 stars. One stars, bros. And go that route. And then just 1 stars because it's just first time I ever set it up, thing just leaks like crazy. And kind of think I know sort of what I'm doing from time to time when it comes to plumbing and moving water around and stuff like that. Oh, did we just have a... I just scrolled over there to check the super chats, and then one popped up. Tyler Clinkscale says, "Hey, man, hope all is well with the fam. If so... Or, sorry. If you had to choose... Would you go with a sump or a canister filter on a 40-gallon breeder? Hashtag you the man." Well, I don't know if I'm the man. Right? I'm a man. Try to do stuff. We'll see. But thanks, Tyler. That's super generous. Let's see. If I had to choose, man, I would go with a sump. I mean, look at that big sump I'm working on right there. I set up this 120 start to finish. I could have easily just ordered some FX6s and stuff like that and just stuck them under there. But sumps are way better as far as I'm concerned. They do what I want them to do. They're so much more modular, way more filter space. You don't have to like turn them off to change all the filters and stuff, which is a monumental obstruction for me if I decide to clean a canister filter. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to turn that thing off, take it all apart, change the stuff in it. And I'll be honest with you, like, yeah, that's probably like one of the biggest problems I have with canister filters. Like, they don't have as much space. You can't change them up, and it's a big pain to do maintenance on them because you have to like turn them off and take them apart and put them back together and put them in the sink, and man, it's just chaos. So all that crap I don't like to deal with, and they have a lot less filtration space. You can't have as much biomedia in there. You can't, there's a lot of, I feel like there's a lot of advantages to sumps over a canister, but it really is a personal choice. Like maybe you like a canister and you want to get an awesome canister filter. It's probably going to be fine. You don't have to go with a sump. But I think dollars to dollars, like I find the most benefits out of operating a sump personally. So I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. It's possible. Is it possible or is it highly probable? It's probable. I would say that it's highly probable. I have so much stuff on my desk. I'm going to throw this away. I'm just in utter chaos over here right now. I got to move this office, you guys. I got to move this office. All right. Devin says, so with that rule of thirds in mind, what color shrimp would you recommend with albino blue guppies? Red Neos on black substrate, or blue Neos, Fantasy Blue Dreams on black substrate? Personally, I would go with red on black substrate for sure. They just look so much better. They're much healthier there. The blue Neocaridinus, they seem to get lost in black substrate as far as my opinion goes. They just don't show up well. They just don't show up well, and it's not that great. It's not that great. So I would definitely go with reds on the black substrate, personally. Dan finally licked all the barbecue off of his fingers. Speaking of that, I'm super hungry. So somebody should bring me barbecue. I heard that... Oh, what happened? Did I miss Daniel's super chat? Oh my god, I did. It's a £5 super chat. Oh my god, it's even bigger than a $5 super chat. Oh, I'm sorry, man. Anyone know how brutally you can trim Crinum calamastratum and have it survive or bounce back? Well, I would, personally, Crinum's one of those weird plants that I really don't trim. I move them around, but I just don't trim them. I move them, and they typically melt off a bunch. So that might be an option for you, is to figure out like a better spot for them to be in and move them, and then they're going to melt. So they're going to ostensibly like trim themselves, sort of. But expect them to get big because they get huge. Crinum, calamastratum gets real big. It gets real big, and it's not the greatest thing to try and just, trim it shorter. It's not really one that I would ever trim shorter, but I would move it to a better spot. Like if it's too far forward in your tank and you're like, man, I got to trim this down so I can see stuff behind it. Or if it has BBA all over it, yeah, I would move it. Normally when you have BBA growing on something like a healthy leaf, that means you're just getting way too much direct light onto it. So I would certainly move it somewhere further back, or just move the light away from it a little bit. Luckily, BBA, you could do a little bit of hydrogen peroxide on it if you want, or do the giant doses of Excel to basically kill off the blackbeard algae. And you can go that route if you like. You can generally kill off the algae, but I think with a Crinum, I would always move it somewhere, get it a little into more of a shaded area, and allow it to just kind of chill out. 54 says, I imagine pull it out, spray it with hydrogen peroxide, and put it back. I'm probably going to do that with some of my Bulbitis that has apparently decided to start growing some BBA on it. It is so close to the light. There just really isn't anywhere to move it. So I'm probably going to end up rehousing the Bulbitis, trim a lot of the baby plants off of it, and maybe drop it in Corey's 800 because it's in the 240 right now, and it's huge. So my Bulbitis is completely out of control, growing super huge, and it's getting some BBA on it because I can't keep it out of the light shining directly on it. It's basically 24 inches tall, and it's growing up out of the water and everything. So it's probably time to just trim some of the babies, move the babies into some other tanks, and move the giant mother plant somewhere. And I know Corey was asking me if I had any big ones the other day, so I think that's probably what will end up happening. I'll probably just take it up there and put it in Corey's 800. I dosed the tank with H2O2. It didn't do anything. You have to direct. Yeah, with hydrogen peroxide, you have to do spot treatment. Yeah, there you go. You have to do direct treatment of it, or it just disperses throughout the tank. So, yeah, if you're gonna dose the whole tank to try and treat for BBA, you got to do the triple dose daily of Excel because it's got glutaraldehyde in it, and glutaraldehyde is one of the algicides that will kill the BBA. Devin Peppers, where can you get Glosso? I would get mine at Aquarium Co-op, or if you're talking about plants for your aquarium, go local if you can. Find the local bulletin boards or whatever and go that route. Well, we are at the coming up on the end of the show here today. I want to thank all of our super chatters today, from Rambast to M Howie 9 to Daniel Keeping Fish and Tyler Clink Scales. I always want to say Clink Sales. I don't know why, but Tyler Clink Scales, DKF, otherwise known as Daniel Keeping Fish, and M Howie 9, and Rumbust, who's always mysteriously super chatting some kind of number that I can't really make heads or tails of. I want to thank everybody for coming out today. That's going to be the end of the show because I got things to do. Namely, I got to make some dinner for my lady, Victoria, and so she can make dinner for our baby, Olivia. Big shout out to everybody for being so awesome oceaneers on the Patreon. Hopefully I answered all you guys' questions. If not, give me some follow-up questions. Let me know all about it. That's my baby, and I'm sticking to it. Thanks, everybody, for coming out to the chat. And, yeah, I'll holler at you guys later. Turn on your notifications, your subscribe, and all that stuff if you're showing up super late, because now we have a giant influx of a whole bunch of people showing up at 4:30 for some reason. I have no idea why. But we're an hour and 6 minutes in, and I'm getting tired, and I'm super hungry because I haven't eaten since this morning. So I'm going to have to talk to y'all later. Oh, are you sure you want to